at ease. All right, guys. In part one, we talked about getting the bag, right? Part two, we talked about administering first aid. In other words, that's just pretty much identifying and mitigating some of the problems as far as our finances. In part three, we're going to talk about becoming a business. Now we say that we should become a business, right? But in all actuality, guys, we're already a business. Anybody that has income coming in, operates as a business. So it's not that we need to become a business. The problem is our business model is jacked up, right? Because this is the average American business model, right? You have a checking account. Now all your income, whatever the source may be, comes into your checking account. And then you have a savings account. And once you pay your bills and all this stuff, your expenses, you set a little money aside to do some partying or whatever, you drop a few dimes off of your savings account. And that's the continued cycle, right? But that business model is not set up for you to win. That business model is set up for you to be broke. That business model is the reason why only 42% of people in the U.S. have $1,000 in savings, right? So you have to understand that it is not your mentality that may all be messed up. It's the way we've been programmed to manage our money, right? So this is how I learned to manage my money, and this is how I became a business, right? Now, guys, before we even start, let me just put my disclaimer out there. I'm not some financial guru. I'm not some millionaire stock investor. I'm not some well-informed banker. I'm just a guy that identified a problem and realized that the way we were doing things was wrong, right? So all I'm doing is telling you what I did to get myself out of the situation. All I'm doing is telling you what I did to get myself out of the bottom percentage of people that were living paycheck to paycheck, the bottom percentage of people that didn't even have $1,000 saved, right? I've got my finances to a point. Now, you hear me talk about getting your money in surplus, right? I've got my money to a point now where I live on just about, anywhere between, 50 and 55% of all my income. I'm able to, buy nicer things in life. I'm able to see places in the world. And I'm telling you guys, 2.5 years ago, guys, I was dead broke. I was living paycheck to paycheck. So all I'm doing, guys, is trying to tell you what I did and what I continue to do, right? So this is how I operate, man. I operate primarily out of 3 different accounts. Now, right now, we're not talking about investing. We're just talking about how the business is set up, right? And this is how your business has to be set up to win. So this is going to be, say this is your checking account, right? Your job is paying you, whatever you're doing on the side, whether it's cutting grass, whether it's YouTube, whether it's whatever you have, whether it's retirement coming in, everything goes into your checking account. And since we're making ourselves a business, let's call this a pipeline. This is where all the money comes in, right? This is your business, right? And then let's talk about your savings account. Now, your savings account is where your side money stacks up. It's where is the money that's stacking up for your future investments. The money that's stacking up, for emergencies and all that, right? And then let's talk about your spending account. Now, anybody that's worked in sales or worked as a mechanic or worked in a role at a job that maybe you were out on the road, this is a spending account, or what corporate America calls a P card, purchasing card. This is your daily spend. This is once everything is accounted for in your pipeline, once all your overhead is accounted for and paid out of this account, this is pretty much your allowance. Let's call it that. This is pretty much your allowance. Now, the thing about this one, once that allowance is set, once money is put in here, once you say, you know what, this is what I need to survive outside of my bills for the next few weeks, this is locked in. You don't dive back into no other accounts, guys. Like I said before, it takes discipline. Now, let's talk about this account first, right? Now, like I said, all money goes into this, right? All money goes into this. But if you've read the book, we mentioned it, Richest Man of Babylon, it talks about this, right? It says, all the money you make, right? all this money you make, it goes towards your rent, and I'm paraphrasing, you know, it goes towards your rent, it goes toward clothes and shoes, it goes toward this and food and all this stuff, right? It pretty much says all this money is not even yours. It's for the bill collector, right? But it says 10% is yours to keep. Out of all 100% of this money comes in, it said 10% is yours. And it says that it's imperative that you pay yourself first. So guys, the first thing you need to do is when you get paid, when you get all this money coming in, before you start writing any checks, before you start logging on, paying these bills, you have to pay yourself first. 10% at minimum needs to come out and go into savings. In other words, if your check comes in, it's $1,000, before you do anything, before you go out to eat, before you pay bills, $100 goes in savings. That's first. And if you can set up on an automatic draft, that's even best, right? Now, what you have to look at this, guys, as the hub of your business. This is not only where the income comes in, this is your overhead. So like I mentioned a while ago, this is where all your bills come out, right? This is the business. And I talked about your spending account. Now, what I do is when money comes in, I'll say, you know what, for the next 2 weeks, you know, this is what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to put, you know, X amount of dollars in my spending, whether it's, you know, a couple hundred, or whatever it is, I put in my spending. And that's my spending money. So what happens is once all the bills are paid, once my spending is over here set, like that's my allowance, once my 10% is in savings, whatever is left, whether it's 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%, that's your profit. You know, every 30 days, you need to look at yourself and say, you know what? I am a business. What did I profit as a business? How successful was I as a business owner? Now, what the far majority of people are doing at the end of the month, they're breaking even. They're zeroed out. And that's why everybody's paycheck to paycheck. And people, for some reason, think that's success. You know, I don't care if you live in $1 million house. I don't care if you're pushing a Lamborghini. I don't care if you're bringing in $1 million a month. At the end of the month, if this is zero balance, that means your business has zero profit margin. You are not running a successful business. And that's why you see a lot of NFL players. That's why you see a lot of, you know, celebrities. That's why you see a lot of people that are just, you know, coming to money all at once. You know, you think, man, they have all this stuff, all this money. That business model is why they go broke, guys. And you know, so what you'll see, guys, what you'll find out is going to take place in a very short amount of time is a few things, right? So once you put this 10% here, once you pay your overhead, once you put your allowance, your expenses over here, that gap, you know, once you wash, rinse, and repeat every month, that gap is going to grow. You know, if you leave 5% here one month, 5% the next month, 5% the next month, eventually that profit margin is going to be like this. So guys, you'll be able to put your bills on auto pay, and I'm telling you, it's a good feeling, man. I'm telling you that there's no greater feeling than to put the majority of your bills on auto pay and to never have to think about bills again. You know, to never have to say, all right, today's payday, I need to sit down and do this. To set things up on auto pay is a good feeling, right? So that's somewhere you're going to get real quick. Your business is growing. At the same time, you're putting this 10% over here, right? So in a very short amount of time, you're going to be in that 42%. You're going to be in the top 42% of people that are that have at least $1,000 in savings, right? Now this is where it gets crucial, guys, because I talked about being disciplined. Now I'm telling you, once you see this money growing, it's going to be hard for you to say, you know what, I need to let that money grow. It's going to be hard for you to not want to, you know, get on a plane and shoot to South Africa. It's going to be hard for you not to take your girl out to you know, a restaurant that's going to cost you $400 or $500. It's going to be hard. You have to believe in the process, and you have to stick to it. You know, I always talk about putting your life on surplus. This is what I'm talking about, guys. It's like if you do nothing different every month, if you do the exact same thing every month, your money's in, you know what you're going to spend over here, you know what you're putting in savings, you know what your business is costing you, your overhead. Your life is in surplus. It means every month your business is growing every month. One thing is this, as far as your savings account, a lot of people, a lot of gurus, on social media, on YouTube, financial advisors, they say that you need to have at least like 6 months of savings over here before you start doing anything else with as far as investing. But my opinion is that it highly depends on your investing tool, right? Now, at the end of 2019 and definitely in 2020, I plan on getting into some real estate. Right now I'm zero on real estate. So all my investments is stocks. So stocks can be liquefied very quick. So as far as my savings, guys, I only keep 1 month of savings. Now some people say that's crazy, but in my opinion, having 7 months of savings in an account that's getting very little interest paid out, it just doesn't make sense to me. And the only reason it doesn't is because of my investment tool. Now, if I was heavy in real estate, if I had, rental properties and if I owned tons of land, then I would definitely have my savings up higher. But, I listen to, Dame Dash and a few other guys, and it just made sense to just have access to all this money and savings, money that could be doing stuff for you. It just doesn't make sense, And what happened for me over time, guys, I'm not a big partier. I don't go out. I like catching movies, but I'm just a homebody. As I continue to put my money in my spending, my spending account just began to grow, And this is when I, begin to start, taking trips and all that. Because, either I'm doing something major or I'm pretty much just at home. You know what I mean? But again, guys, it's crucial to put your life in surplus. And I talked about it takes discipline. Guys, I'm telling you. There's no greater feeling to making forward moves in your money, man. I can talk about, several different toys I've had or several different things I've spent money on. And I'm like, man, that was cool. It was fun. But brother, I'm telling you, at the end of the day, at the end of the month, when you say, you know what, okay, I've lived 30 days of my life. And as a business, I've saved, I have 20% left. Everything is done. My business has profited 20, 30%. I don't have to think about, paycheck. I don't have to think about paying bills. Everything is on autopilot. Guys, I'm telling you, there is no greater feeling. And I'm telling you, as these numbers grow, as these accounts begin to grow because your life is in surplus, you start to understand some things, right? Like, I'll see a lot of memes on Instagram or whatever where guys will say, they'll show a picture of Bill Gates or somebody or Zuckerberg from Facebook. And then they'll show somebody from, they'll show some rapper. They might show, whatever rapper. And they'll put them side by side. And they'll be like, this guy's worth this. Look at him. This guy's worth this. Look at him. For the longest time, I still couldn't make sense of that because in my mind, I was like, man, if I was Bill Gates, if I was, Warren Buffett, man, I'd be balling. I'd be Lambo. I'd be this. But guys, I'm telling you, it's a different mindset that just comes by default once that money gets to growing. It's a much better feeling, sleeping at night knowing you're secure, knowing that things are taken care of, than to have the biggest whip in the driveway, right? It's a much better feeling knowing that, your job, if your job comes in tomorrow and says, you know what, solo mortal, today's your last day. It's a much better feeling saying, cool, like, it was fun, shake hands, say, you know what, I'm in a position now where I'm good. Like I can bounce and I'm still good. Like I've done things, I put my life in surplus and I'm still good, right? Now the thing is this, once you got that business model laid out, guys, it's important, and we're going to talk about this next video, it's important to talk about your investment tool. It's important to talk about investing because what do you do with this money, this savings account? Richest Man in Babylon talks about, it broke it down to, you have to look at this as children, right? And you have to when you send these children out, they're supposed to go out and multiply and bring more back. You know, it breaks it all down, and we'll talk about that. In a nutshell, guys, like I said in an earlier video, it is not as much about how much money you make. It's more about how you manage it. You know, again, that's why so many people that are making, you know, millions of dollars a year, that they're broke. It's because their business model is broke. At the same time, you can have somebody making $7.25 an hour that's slowly increasing their value. You know what I'm saying? Money in the bank, generational wealth. It's all about a mindset, guys. And I can't, you know, and I'm not going to sit here in front like I don't want things or like I don't buy things. You know, you guys see some of the trips that I post, some I don't. You see some of the things that I buy. You know, I share with you guys, you know, the process of me even moving to this house. So I'm not going to front like I don't like nice things or like nice things are bad. But guys, it's all about getting in position. It's all about prioritizing. And just, you know, for me, I'm only scratching the tip of the iceberg. You know, I see myself in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, guys. And I see where my path is going. All I have to do is just keep washing, rinsing, repeating. You know what I'm saying? You know, and we talked about that checking account. Just think about how powerful it is once you get that business model down. Think about once you start looking into other multiple streams of income, which we're going to talk about that. Think about once you start getting that investment tool rolling. Think about once you start compounding that on top of that business model. That's how I went from, like I said, 97% of, you know, living on 97% of my income to living on 50%. Because once I got that model down, all I started doing was going out, starting another income, you know, doing this, starting YouTube, you know, and putting it on top of that. Guys, I'm telling you, you'll be able to pay those bills off so fast. You'll be able to, I'm telling you, it's life changing. And again, the game becomes more about winning as a business owner more than it is about having things. You know what I'm saying? I remember, man, it was some years ago. One of the first books I bought several years ago was by Russell Simmons. And it was like, I don't know the name of it, but it was like clear cut, how to make money, you know, paraphrase. It was something about making money. I bought that book like, you know what? I'm going to read this book and it's going to tell me how to be rich. And I opened this book up, man, and within 10, 15 minutes, I'm telling you guys, I trashed it because I was so pissed off. Because all he talked about was this peaceful state that you have to be in. All he talked about was how you don't need all this stuff. And what pissed me off was the fact that he had all this stuff. You know, Russell was super wealthy at this time, and he's telling me how I don't need it. You know what I mean? And now looking back, I understand what he was saying. Because to get to that point where we're all trying to get as far as our finances, brother, it takes a certain level of peace that you have to be in first. It takes a certain level of being content with life that you have to be in first. You know, you have to prioritize what's happiness and what's not. And that's what he was saying. But I didn't give him time to get through all that, man. But I understand now. You know, another man I look up to, man, is Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey said, you know, I wish everybody on the planet could be rich and famous, just so they can understand that being rich and all that stuff is not where happiness is, guys. So we're talking about getting the bag, of course. We want to increase our money. We want to have nice things in the world. We want generational wealth for those to come behind us. But we can't put our happiness in that. You know what I'm saying? In the very moment that I took my happiness away from getting things, it changed, brother. I'm telling you, it seemed like overnight. Like I don't even, you know, it changed so fast that I don't even remember the transition. All I remember is it being one day I was broke and this, to one day life was good. And it was so quick. It's because that happiness that you want, it's on the inside. You know, if you're putting your happiness on the bag, I'm telling you, brother, you may get the bag, but you'll never keep it. You'll never secure it. So you have to have that happiness inside first, man. So guys, next go around, we're going to talk about what do you do with that savings account? how do you multiply that savings account? We're also going to talk about multiple streams of income, right? Because this is the thing. This is the thing. Every single person on the planet has a skill or ability that can generate them more money. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does. Whether it's talking on YouTube, whether it's, painting pictures, whether it's writing books, whether it's helping people invest in stocks, whether it's helping people. Every single person has an ability to make them more money. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, everybody knows this. Everybody's aware of their talent. The thing is, it's a matter of stepping out. You know what I'm saying? I remember sitting at a table. This is what, 3 years ago. We were all sitting at a table, me and some friends, and we were talking about things we wanted to do in life and what we want to achieve. And I remember people at that table was like, I just want to, live to be 70, get my 401k and just retire. And I was like, man, I'm in the wrong crowd. I'm in the wrong crowd. And I remember that day, I went home. I said, you know what? I'm going to start doing this, this, and this. And within a week, I started a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? I said, you know what? I know I'm greater than this. I know that I'm able to generate money on my own without having an employer, having to run my life. You know what I'm saying? I started my YouTube channel, And I look back and I say, what if I wouldn't have ever made that step? I would have left so much on the table. You know what I'm saying? I would have left, like if the YouTube channel has brought money in and other things, I said, I would have left so much on the table. And now I'm looking at myself and I'm saying, you know what? Like, what if I don't write books? What if I don't do X and Y, Z? What if I don't do this? Like I'm leaving so much on the table. I have a friend, female friend, been friends pretty much her whole life. She loves to do like event planning. And brother, when I say she can plan an event, it looks like something on a magazine. And I've always said, hey, like, man, you need to go forward with this. Like, you leaving like hella money on the table. And she just would never do it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, one day she's gonna wake up and regret not going all in, man. And my last post, my last video, that's what I talked about, man. Is going all in, right? So I'm rambling, man. So I'm gonna get off of it. But guys, set yourself up as a business. Put some discipline on yourself as far as structuring your finances. And I'm telling you, it's gonna be hard, but in a short amount of time, guys, life is gonna change. Your situation is gonna change. Your stress level is gonna change. Your ability to provide for your family is gonna change. Your ability to get your family nice things and take them on certain trips and buy stuff. It's going to change, man, and it's going to be fulfilling, man. And it's going to be a peace that comes with that, brothers. So I'm going to wrap it up, man. I definitely want to get this video out before the end of the month. So let me get this thing edited and get it posted, man. It's your boy, Soul Immortal, and I'm out.
At ease!